Hello everybody, this is editor Bonchan here. Real quick before we dive into the video, I just want to apologize for the massive delay. Some of the information that was going to be shared in this video is already going to be a bit dated because the banners are gone. However, the information still stands that you're probably going to still want to borrow or pull for some of the UMAs or just straight up ignore it. Again, more details as the video goes on. Another thing is we got some feedback on the first initial video and decided that from now on, after this video, information is going to be condensed heavily. Same info is going to be there. It's just that instead of spending an entire, let's say, hour and a half, 2 hours plus going over everything, we're just going to make sure that we just go over the pools for that month and go from there. Figure that when you see a 2-hour video and not enough views, you're not going to want to click on that. So, of course, we're going to go for that engagement as well as just still giving the correct information based off of what we read on Game Torah as well as just what other people have said in the other servers. As always, not everything is going to be one-to-one with the JP servers compared to global, as they have different patch notes and different updates that affect the races in different ways. So that's pretty much the gist of it. Just want to remind everybody that I appreciate all those that subscribe as well as watch the video in its entirety. That really means a lot to me. And if you guys ever have anything you guys want to add or suggest or anything like that, by all means, throw it in the comment section. And as per usual, more information will be found in the description box below. And without further ado, this is going to be the last big one. From here on out, everything's going to be condensed to hopefully under 20 to 25 minutes. So thank you all for hearing that little PSA. And now let's get on to the actual show. Thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We done a video about the cards and which ones you should skip and which ones you should pull. So now we're going to move on to the UMAs. This is all for MANT. We're not going to talk about further in the future in the sense of Grand Life and further beyond. The way that we fix this list here is basically the picks on the left-hand side. So low priority, middle priority, high priority. On top, it's going to be parent, ace, waifu / oshi, and then downright just skip the UMA. So, knowing that, I am your main host, Bonchan, and I am joined with a new face, as well as an old one. So, first and foremost, Drippin, welcome back.
Welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good to be back.
Don't leave me again to take over the whole show. I don't think people like that. They kind of.
My bad.
they kind of.
The video could have been shorter, if I was there.
Honestly, yes, that is true. So we're gonna try to make this one a bit shorter. I know 2.5 hours is it's a long one, but I mean it's mainly for background noise rather than like something right in your face. This one's gonna be a little bit more right in your face. We're gonna be showing off all of the uniques, the abilities, as well as just some theory crafting, since we have some foresight with JP and all that. So the new face, welcome Sage. How you doing?
Hello. I'm doing quite well. How about you?
Good. I'm doing good. So, knowing this list that I'm showing you guys, because I'm also just streaming it on the Discord server, do you guys have any changes on the list, or do you think we can move forward to the first UMA?
We can move forward to the first one.
Okay.
You can honestly do the first UMA.
Cool. Disclaimer, I should have probably started with that. These are just our opinions. Do not take it as gospel just because we are, I guess, content creators, even though we have like 20 subs. Doesn't mean you take this as gospel. This is more like theory crafting as well as just our own perspectives from our own experiences. Sage, you ever played JP or you just play global? You just follow JP, right?
I play global mainly, but I do happen to follow JP stuff.
Okay, and then myself and Drippin, we play JP, so we have a little bit of foresight, as mentioned before. So just want to reiterate that. Another thing is we missed out on a few UMAs. However, in terms of inheritance, you're not missing out on too much besides, let's say, Kitasan Black. Victory Cheer is a ability that you're gonna always like on your front runners. But other than that, Mejiro Bright, Satono Diamond, Amari Vega, decent Oshi picks, strong in the right circumstances. However, in terms of inheriting their abilities, not very strong. Everyone agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, first and foremost, we are going to start off with Seiun Sky. As per usual, I'm going to go and say her skills as well as where will I put her, and let's see if we all agree here. So, first and foremost, this is a front runner Uma. You can see all the base stats. It's in the screen in front of you. So once you pull her at 3 stars, you get these stats. You get her at up to 5 stars, you get all that stats. The important part here is that she has an 8% speed growth, 8% power growth, 14% guts growth. She's mainly used for the turf. Her aptitudes is mainly going to be used for mile, medium, and long strategy, mostly going to be for the front runner. Now, her ability is right here. Do you break it down, and if positioned towards the front of a straight late race, increase velocity with high spirits. If the straight is on the backstretch, backstretch words, also increase acceleration very slightly. So we look at the ability right here. It lasts for a whole 5 seconds. It's a target speed of 0.35. Okay, so keep that in mind. We're gonna go back to that. We have Spring Runner, Rosy Outlook. So it's a recovery for the medium. Fast Pace, slightly increased ability to go to the front mid-race is for front runners. Her Awakening skills, so the ones that you use the shoes as well as the banners for, you have Leader's Pride, Escape Artist, Early Lead, and Top Runner. So Top Runner here is a new skill that comes with Seiun Sky. And as you can see right here, she's the only one that has it, and it comes with these 3 future cards, Marzensky, Twin Turbo, and it looks like that was Scarlet. So this ability is increased target speed for 0.35, and it has a 3-second duration. We'll come back to that. After that, this is where we'd like to talk about the evolve skills. So we're not going to go into too much detail here, because these are things that we're not going to see until a little bit later down the timeline. However, you want to keep these in mind when picking an Uma, only because these are just going to help your Uma later on in the timeline. They're not just going to be left in the water to drown. You get some skills from the events, so Subdued Late Surgers, Deep Breaths, Front Runner Straightaways, Shake It Out, Highlander, Steadfast, Hesitant Late Surgers, Right-Handed, and Fast Paced. Of course, here are the races she normally races if you do any other scenario that isn't MANT or whatever. We actually have to do all the races. So let's knowing this, right, Ballroom Seiun Sky, let's talk about her ult here, right? Because I think this is a really important thing here. What do you guys know about this ult besides just like the hard stuff that I read right here, the base duration as well as the increased speed? What do you guys want to add to that?
From what I know, is it similar to Kitasan's unique, and except it's a lot weaker. It doesn't have right now. Currently, it doesn't have the 0.2 XL. I think it only has like a 0.1, right? Pretty.
Yes. Yeah, it's only 0.1 right now.
Yeah, it's 0.1 right now, and later on it'll get buffed, but it's still weaker than Kitasan's because Kitasan gives 0.3. So, and it's also mostly this unique is mostly used for the longs, and we don't get a lot of longs, honestly. It's like probably like once in a while we get a long. So
Okay.
what do you say?
Oh, right. So yeah, I would have to also agree with the fact that we don't get longs as much. But so in terms of Seiun Sky, specifically Ballroom Seiun is what I like to consider Kitasan Black's partner in crime. The difference between her is that she happens to have, generally, a lot more mid-game because you have Gold Leader's Pride and Fast Pace. Yeah, you have Gold Fast Pace, which is Escape Artist, and also Gold Leader's Pride, which is Top Runner. And both of these are going to be very, very strong in order to allow her to actually, keep mid-game and push her up further to get first. Secure that spot. So, but in terms of her actual winning ability, it is generally weaker than Kita-san's. But the other thing is that she could also be used similar to Kita-san as an inherit. Either for Kita-san herself or for other friends. For long tracks.
Got
As
it.
they activate at the same time on a straight.
Okay. So, knowing all this, is there anything else you guys want to add before we go on to the list?
No, I think that's pretty solid, honestly.
Okay.
Regarding another thing.
Go for
Another
it.
thing is that compared to OG Seiun is basically better on nearly every single track because angling and scheming is just a very strong skill. But on Ballroom Seiun is mainly used for the tracks where angling and scheming doesn't happen to go and really work that well, which is the long tracks. Except for Arima.
Okay. So, knowing this and seeing that the CM is around the corner in the next like week and a half or so, would you guys pull her if this was just the case for this CM? Yes or no?
No.
But this CM, no.
Okay. So she is mainly for the long tracks in which angling and scheming doesn't work, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And this is like certain tracks as well, because I know for the Kika show, I forget what number CM that was, angling and scheming still worked. So it's only specific tracks, right?
No, it was very delayed.
It was very delayed. Okay.
CM 6 it was delayed.
Okay, so you would rather use Seiun Sky as an ace or as an inherit for the long CMs, correct?
Yes.
Got it. So, knowing that, right, we have Ballroom Seiun right here. Where would you guys, if you were, where would you put her? Would you put her as parent, ace? Where would you guys put her? Waifu skip. Obviously not skip. Not skip. We're not skipping on this one though. I'll say that much. If you're a front runner main.
No, this generally is like not much of a skippable banner. In terms of a meta perspective, like she is going to be like still a strong pick for fronts on longs. As I said, to me she's considered Kiyosan Black Sparta in crime, so I'd say it was like an ace.
Got it. So you would make a case for a parent as well as an ace, correct? Because Kita-san Kita-san or any other front runner is going to use her.
I guess for parent
fronts.
though, it's more like medium. She's more of an ace.
Got it. And of course, I mean, for those that want Seiun, because they're your waifu, it's always going to go high. So, all right. I would agree. Honestly, I would agree. Yeah. No, 100%. You basically said everything I would have said. So that, good. All right. So, the next one here on this current banner is Fuji Kiseki. Now, Fuji Kiseki, already I can tell you, you're gonna need a lot of help in bumping her aptitudes up. So already that's kind of a couple points against her, but I know a lot of people right now with all the parents that they're building in MANT, we're having more opportunities to use Umas that are normally stuck in mile and medium. We get to throw them in long or even in sprint. Whether they're good or not, that's a different story, but I know a lot of Umas are getting the chance to go into CMs as well as even just team trials in different positions and aptitudes. So here you go, you pull her, these are the base stats, you get her to the 5-star, those are the other stats. In terms of stat growth, you get 8 in speed, 14 in power, 8 in wit. She's mainly for turf, and once again, she's B in sprint, A in mile, B in medium, E in long. Just need a couple sparks to help her out either way. And she's mainly a pace, although I'm pretty sure people will probably throw her around a little bit based off of, again, I should have said it even with other Umas in general. You want to make certain Umas more valuable or rather versatile, you move them around. So again, it's pretty good that you have C in front, C in late. You can make a case to put her in either or. We're going to go with her all here. When passing another racer at the front of the pack on the final corner or later, perform a dazzling display that greatly increases velocity for a moderate duration. So if you look at the actual explanation here. It's 4 seconds. It's pretty long. Increase target speed for 0.45. Okay, not too bad. It's goes down to some skills that she comes with. Base, so trick, mile corners, prepared to pass. Then you start upgrading her, so you get shrewd step, tantalizing trick. So pretty good when for mediums, especially the derby. But we'll go on. We'll come back to that later. Head on, speed star. A visual skill that obviously just doesn't work. You only want to add it for team trials. Right-handed, unduly spirit, prepared to pass, and then preferred position. And then of course you get all the races that you got to do. If you have regular Fuji Kiseki, you already know. So going back and starting back to her ult. Thoughts, Drippin.
She is very pace front runner oriented. I'm pretty sure. It's not. I feel like it's nothing too special from what we've already seen in other Umas. So it's like she's just there. Her kid is nothing special. So it's kind of they did her dirty compared to
Seiun Sky.
Her other compared to Seiun Sky, they did her dirty. But compared to her other variant, I feel like her other variant is a lot stronger. Especially since her other variant has a unique that will be used for a long time. It's literally it's literally just regular Ogiri, but a bit earlier.
Okay.
Alright, I could happen to also agree with that, because compared to OG Fuji happens to have vaudeville, which is just 300 meters 0.45 skill. But for this skill, for Ballroom Fuji needs to overtake on the final corner to actually get the skill. So it doesn't happen to go and work his run. That's the first thing, because you want to go and be first. And the second thing is that tantalizing trick is just very weird for a skill to have on her kit. Head on will eventually be much more usable later on. And then Speed Star is also pretty decent skill. You can use Speed Star at least. I guess in terms of the other thing to me is that OG Fuji and Ballroom Fuji, both Fuji forms are honestly usable at any distance that you want, which happens to be kind of the nice thing about Fuji, especially if you happen to like her.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but in terms of Fuji's Ballroom Fuji skills, that sometimes it can be a little inconsistent because you have to overtake in order to get that skill.
So if you were to say this was your Oshi, this was your waifu, then you probably would have to make a dud front runner, right, to overtake as a target.
You could.
That's probably one of those strategies.
Yeah, sacrificial front, maybe a runaway if you feel like using runaway Suzuka. That's it's a rabbit strategy.
Got it. So just based off of the less excitement compared to Seiun Sky, this is probably gonna be more of an Oshi pick. Okay. So yeah. Oshi pick.
I definitely say high priority for sure. I mean, it's Fuji. Fuji is nice.
Oh yeah. It's kind of hard to skip because they're both on the same banner. So if you get her, you get her. But obviously, if this is your Oshi, your waifu, right? You're gonna pick her. And you also mentioned before, you could probably put her on any type of track / aptitude. So probably gonna be an ace if you really want it to be. But I think it's not
more so medium priority.
Yeah, it's not gonna be your highest one. It's probably just gonna be, if you like Fuji. And then in terms of parent, I don't think you're gonna put her as a parent, right? Yeah. So there you go. All right. And knowing this too, you mentioned this OG Fuji, right? And also I should have mentioned this for Seiun Sky. I think we kind of brushed on it, but we didn't go into too much detail. in the future, I can tell you right now, on the most like last 2 current CMs in JP, there were people still using some of these Umas. You know, of course not for the medium, but for the last long CM, Ballroom Seiun Sky was a parent. So that's how much lifespan she's gonna have. So just if you're thinking about not, you know, pulling or not, that's just another reason for you guys to consider. All right, so knowing that, we're going to take these 2 out, and that's that banner. Now, more highly anticipated, this Uma right here, so many people have been talking about her even before we even knew the release schedule, and that is Nishino Flower. So, base stats, get her up to 5-star, there you go. Stat bonus, 15 speed, 15 power. Hold on to that. A on turf, A in sprint, A in mile, and then of course just really bad on the rest, but that'll foreshadowing basically. Strategy, pace, and late, and her unique skill. So budding blossom, right? If the user engaged in a challenge on a mid-corner, increase acceleration when well-positioned late race, at least halfway through the final corner. What does that actually mean? Well, here we go. It's more of a dual skill, right, Sage? Would you say it's more of a dual skill? You gotta be dueling somebody?
More so, it just happens to be that if an Uma happens to be nearby you for like 2 seconds, because it blocks out continue time, then when you happen to be at the final corner or later, because it could also be on a final straight if the late race starts on a final straight. If you're at 3 to 4, you activate the skill with 0.4 XL.
Got it. You already said it for 4 seconds, 0.4 XL. So that's going to be really exciting. We're going to come back to that. Straight away adept, acceleration, straight descent. Then you get some of the skills that you're going to have to use some resources on. So sprinting gear, beeline burst, late surge of corners, determined descent. And again, evolve skills. Can't really talk about those just yet because we don't see those for a long time. But just know she does evolve later on, thus giving more time for her to use in the timeline when you start playing this game for a bit longer. Firm conditions, corner adept, updrafters, shifting gears, steadfast, and head on. It's very interesting that we get a medium skill for her, but it's understandable because for her career, you're going to be running the triple tiara if you want to, and you're going to want to get that medium E to at least, you know, be A. A is better, but that's for past MANT. You know, right now we're focusing on MANT. You can skip those races. Not that you should. That's extra points that you're going to need, but you can if you want to. So, back to this ult, right? There's a lot of talk about this ult. So I just want to go ahead and dive into it. Drippin', tell me why this Uma is going to be really important going into the future. Like, what's your take on that?
It's acceleration, basically for the pace chasers that don't have, you know, XL right now. Kind of have nothing there, except head on, which isn't even fixed in the game currently. And this is something else they can have. You know, it's pretty sure it's like procs 4th through second to 4th or something.
3rd to 4th.
3rd to 4th.
It's
So
like Taiki.
Yeah, literally Taiki. And from what I know, it's mostly used for sprints and miles, and I think a couple mediums or a few mediums. But you know, this is very good for pace chaser mains, because now they have something to use. Finally, after 5,000 years, they have something.
And then
with me.
Sage, yeah, I know we were having a discussion before we even started the recording, so please add further context to what Drippin was saying.
So yes, about Budding Blossom, or even known as Tsubomi in JP, his skill is going to be the savior of pace chasers. For nearly every sprint and mile track in the game, this unique skill works. I'll provide perfect acceleration. Compared to, let's say, Taiki's, right? Because Taiki's happens to be still a final corner later half. But for Nishino's, it has to be in the late race phase. Which means that it can proc at a better time compared to Taiki's. But also, it can proc in tandem with Taiki's unique as well in tracks where Taiki's also happens to go and work. And the combination of these two can still be used in JP to this day. It is very, very strong. Also, regarding what Drippin said regarding medium tracks, it does work in Tenosho Autumn, probably from what I know of. Because Tenosho Autumn happens to have has to be similar to Tokyo 1600. Tokyo 2000 is not that far off. Outside of that, no, Nishino will be a very strong choice.
Especially for parents.
Yeah, especially as a parent. She's also, in my opinion, quite good as an ace as well, just because she can use also her own unique skill, mainly for sprint and mile. And Determined Descent can also work on mainly Hanshin and Kyoto tracks as well, if you're able to bump up her medium sparks if you want to. And she can even be Randley Surger as well. So there's many different things that you could go and do with this Uma. She is quite strong.
And it's funny because I've seen CMs where you lose her in the crowd because she's so tiny. You know, she's shorter than even digital. So it's always funny when you see like the taller Umas running it down, and then you just see just a tiny little Nishino Flower just you know, going through the crowd and then getting first place. It's a little treat. You know, just to add to that. Yeah, it's very fun to see. But I would have to agree with what both of you guys said. Even in current JP, she's just used. There's so many options that you can put her in for all of the sprint and mile races that I've seen her in the CMs, as well as, like you mentioned before, the Autumn Tennis Show. You can use her as well. So I would definitely put her as, let's see, where can I find her? There she is. High priority parent. Even as an ace, you could use her as an ace. And I had to check your hard drive if you have her as a waifu. I'm not gonna not gonna lie there, but if she's your waifu, yeah, top priority. This is an Uma that you do not want to skip. Her lifespan is used to this day in JP. Are there any closing thoughts?
Another thing is that not only is her skill used for pace chasers, sometimes if you're able to build backliners really, really well, to the point where you're able to push them up to a spot where you're in pace chaser position like 3 to 4, at that point it can even work for backliners as well. That's a more advanced thing.
I mean, I'm just kind of theory crafting right now. Like, do you think this would combo very well with a Tomono Cross? Or even like a OG Oguri, just to get them in a good position?
It's possible.
Because
I've heard examples of like Taishin users, right? Doing this in like some mile tracks.
Oh yeah.
So
okay. I was thinking more for Tomono Cross because her ult already, if it goes off, you know, plus tail 9 going off, it just shoots her up to the front. And it's I seen some madmen out there, and I tried it myself, but I couldn't hit the stats. Put angling and scheming on Tomono Cross because that's how far up she was, you know. Yeah. I laugh at it, but I've seen it, so I'm just kind of theory crafting here. But enough about that. Mejiro Flower, as we all agree, high priority across the board. This is probably one of those Umas that you want her. I think we all agree you cannot skip on her. Got it. Moving on.
Yeah.
We have Yaeno Mutaki. Did I pronounce that right?
Yaeno Mutaki.
Yaeno Mutaki. Okay.
Yaeno Mutaki.
So, base stats, as you can see right there, 5-star right there. Her stat bonus, 20% power, 10% guts, turf runner, distance, mile, medium, strategy gonna be pace and late, and her ults, peerless dance of flowering flames. If the user passes another runner on the final corner or later, increase velocity with a fiery fighting spirit when in the front part of the pack with 300 meters or less remaining. It's one of those skills that increases target speed. Once again, 0.35, and it lasts for a whole 5 seconds. So keep that in mind. You have ramp up, steadfast, pace chaser corners, fighting spirit. It's on. So like her card, she gives it on. Corner acceleration, unyielding. Again, evolve skills. If you guys want to see them, they're right there, but can't really talk about them because they're not here yet. Skills that you get from events, so standard distance, playtime's over, ramp up, home stretch haste. So, I know we were talking about her as well earlier, Drippin', and just based off of what she offers as well as just the Uma, I think we kind of just agreed that her ult isn't as strong as the last few Umas that we've talked about. So go ahead.
Yeah, she's yeah, just nothing special. Just an Oshi pick. Like a lot of these Umas we're looking at are typically just Oshi picks. They're just, if you like them, go for it, 100%. She's one of them. I know a lot of people who probably read the manga of Cinderella Grey definitely would probably go for her. But she's just a basic Uma, a basic.
Oh, Sage, sounds like Sage disagrees with that. What do you got to say, Sage?
Oh no, no, I actually happen to agree with that.
Oh, okay. You said as if you were gonna say something.
Yeah, she's just pretty just pretty Oshi base oriented.
Yeah. Like the only very strong thing that she generally has is it's on.
Yep.
It's on will be generally just a very strong skill to have. But outside of that, it's she's okay.
Yeah.
Definitely more of an Oshi pick. And if you happen to like Cinderella Grey, because she is another prominent character in that series, you can still use her.
Oh, 100%. And she's one of the few Umas as of right now that can use It's on her base kit, especially with the moving off of Unity Cup. We can't get that skill anymore, so her card is the only other card that offers that skill. And then later on, Matsukane Tenhauser is some more current one. So if you skipped out on Muteki, you do have Matsukane Tenhauser, but that's a story for another time. If you guys want to watch that in detail, there is the card video we made. I would have to agree with that, what you guys are saying. I would add that she probably would be a decent parent, or more of a better of a grandparent than a parent, because you do have a lot of skills here that you would like to use for your pace chasers. You have ramp up, you're going to have pace chaser corners, etc. But definitely not going to be using it for ults. As well as to piggyback on what you guys said as well, she's probably going to be more of a waifu Oshi pick, only because with the popularity of Cinderella Grey, manga coming to an end, but the anime still going, she's one of the more prominent characters there. And I know a lot of people out there that picked her. They're going to try to fulfill her dream within the game, try to get her to win the Triple Crown and for the races beyond. So I can see why a lot of people might be attracted to the character, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to agree with you guys. As, a pick, this is probably going to be one of those that you can actually skip if you want to. It's probably going to be one of those medium skips, because there's going to be a lot of people again that are going to choose her as a waifu, of course, to the top, as well as just, I would say, low as a grandparent.
low.
Yeah, as a grandparent. Only because there are useful skills that she does have. So I would definitely, do that. And then in terms of an ace, I mean, also pretty low. You're gonna have to put a lot of stuff on her in order to make her a lot more competitive. But do you guys agree with that ranking? Okay.
I agree.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Moving pretty quick here. So we got King Halo Cheerleader. Another one of those Umas that is very popular for only winning a single G1. So I'm going to see a lot of people pulling for her just based off of my observations of the waifu Oshi pick. But other than that, base stats, pull her right there. That's what you get. 5 stars, that's what you get. Stat bonuses, a bit better than base Halo. You get 10 on speed, 10 on power, 10 on guts. So it is a bit better. You could build her a lot more easier compared to her normal King Halo. She's a turf runner, of course, sprint, mile, medium, long. This is a great thing about King Halo, though. I will say this. If you waifu Oshi her, she can literally do everything. You just gotta give a couple sparks. And the same thing for her strategy. Pace, late, and end. Couple sparks, you can make it an end closer. And that's how I've seen people make even regular King Halo as just a menace. Other than that, let's move on to her unique skill right here. Louder, Trace, and Cheer. If the user stays towards the back during the first half of the race without being rushed, so there's your key word, the thing that blights every King Halo. If you gotta be calm, so you gotta get that wit up. Unleash a fighting spirit to increase acceleration on the final straight. So here we go, 4 seconds, increase acceleration 0.4. So same amount, right, as Nishino Flower. It's 4 seconds, or sorry, not 4 seconds, but 0.4, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So other than that, skills that she comes with: Spring Runner, Gap Closer, Outer Swell. Some of the ones that get to use resources is Watchful Eye, Rising Dragon, Blade Searcher Straightaways. This is Gold Spring Runner, so Spring Spectacle. It adds a lot more to your speed and power. So we're gonna start seeing a lot more of these Gold, Spring, Fall, Firm, etc., etc., etc. Evolve skills, again, can't really talk about them, they're not out yet. Just know that she has a future, though. Skills from the event, so you get Outer Swell, Studious, Pumped, and an Unyielding Spirit. So plenty of skills that we can use as a late surger. We can use some of these for sprint, use some of these for mile. So again, just adding more to her versatility. Back to her ults. Sage, we were having a conversation earlier of how important King Halo is going to be for your sprints. Go ahead, Sage.
Yes, so for sprints and a few miles, usually the Tokyo 1600 mile as well, but for Chukyo 1200 specifically, this will happen to go and be a pretty strong inherit for backliners. For the Takumatsu no Yakinen, the G1 that King Halo did win, funnily enough. And King Halo herself, as an ace, can also function quite strong on those types of tracks as well. So she's going to be quite good.
Would you use her for longer tracks, so let's say medium or long?
I wouldn't really say so. But she is usable.
Okay. Trippin, you want to add anything to that?
I would agree with Sage. She's just, backliner. She's essentially just a backliner parent, just for the shorter tracks, especially the ones that, like, her unique activates on the straight. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
So it's like for sprints and some miles.
Yeah, Tokyo 16, I think, would be very good for it.
Yeah. So not really anything other than that, you can't use them on mediums and longs. But just for pair wise, for just the sprints for backliners and miles, a couple miles.
Okay. So I think we all have to agree here when it comes to King Halo. She's definitely going to be very important as a parent for those specific scenarios here. So that's already half of your races right there, whether mile or sprint. Let me see if I can find her, because there's so many little Umas here that I have to look at. But I would have to agree, and just, I'm going to keep saying this like a broken record. She's used to this day in JP. So, again, it's your waifu pick, or you're kind of on the edge of choosing other Umas to pull for because you missed out on other ones. It's probably going to be would you guys say a high or a medium parent?
Say medium.
Medium.
Okay.
Definitely medium.
So still pretty important. As an ace, again, I would say medium too, right? Because she's only really useful on the sprint and mile. So you have probably some better choices, but she's there. And I think for most of them, as waifu, it's always going to be high. So if King Halo is your Oshi, is your waifu, go ahead. And bit easier to make compared to her normal base King Halo outfit, alternative uniform, whatever you want to call it. So any last thoughts about that?
On that, you can say.
Okay. On to another fan favorite. Nice natured cheerleader. Plenty to talk about her too. Beloved by all. Her base stats are right here. If you pull her, 3 stars. Get her up to 5 stars. There you go. They're right there. Her stat bonuses, once again, a bit easier to make compared to regular nature. You have 10 on stamina, 10 on power, and 10 on wit. Aptitudes are roughly the same. She's going to be running mostly on turf. She's going to be a distance Uma, but with some sparks, you can get her to A aptitude for a mile. Her strategies are mainly going to be either late surger, especially with A, and then there's some sparks, you might get them up for N or pace. Now on to her unique skill. Go for it. Go, goal. If the user passes another runner on the final corner or later, increase velocity from the mid-pack onward on the final straight. If the user isn't one of the top favorites, must you resolve to keep steadily increasing velocity. So, just like the lore in the real life. It's going to be one of those alts that increases the target speed for 0.35, and it is a long one again. It's 5 whole seconds. We'll go on to her other skills that she comes with. So, Nimble Nav, Tether, Laser Savvy. Onto her skills that you're going to have to buy. She has Taking the Chance, which is one of those newer abilities that was on the series symbolic card. So if you guys want more info on that, go watch the card video that we just released. She calls it Dominator. So unlike her normal one with Mystified Murmur, Dominator is going to be used a lot, especially on most of these mediums coming up. She has a long shot. She comes in with base no stopping me. So for those that are struggling because the only card that we have right now is Yukino Bijin, she's gonna be the second Uma that you could pull for Kamikami Princess, as well as one of the free Umas that you should hopefully have already, Yaeno Top Gun, that has NSM. So very important skill. Other than that, again, of all skills, can't really talk about them yet. She goes Studious, Fighter, Fearless, as well as Homester Chase. So Fearless is again one of those newer skills. Talked about it in the card video. So going back to her alt here. You got anything to say about this, Drippin? We're gonna go back and forth here. So Drippin, anything that you want to add to this alt? You think it's a good
Her alt is weaker than OG, so it's not as strong. She gets overall she gets an amazing kit, but loses on strong ult.
Mm-hmm.
So that the downside of a downside of her essentially.
Mm.
But overall, you know, she's not, you know, Oshi, definitely Oshi pick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of Nice Nature fans, surprisingly.
For me,
go ahead, Sage.
I think her ult is kind of like around the same, I'd say. OG's is a little bit easier still to generally activate, just because it's just hit third and late race. So you have much more of a window to activate it there. But this still doesn't happen to go and be like that bad of an ulti either. It's still a very usable ulti. And also the very interesting part is getting 1 extra second of 0.35 target speed increase if you are 4th favorite or below. That's the little interesting part about that ulti. But this is a nature that can win more because she has NSM.
Yes, I was gonna say that. I think her kit just having NSM on it just puts her stock like way up as a potential ace, especially when it comes for the longs. Say again?
Not only that, but she also has take the chance for medium, and that will eventually go and be buffed at some point later on. So that's another skill that can be quite useful. Generally cheerleader nature, you can make her win a lot more.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, as of right now, until we get to Sweep Tosho and Camping Dober, she's the only one that has it, besides if he had the card Sirius and Molly. So, knowing all that, I would also, just to chime in with Cheerleader Nature here, I think, yes, she does have a slightly weaker ult just because of the activation conditions. However, if you hit it, combo that with NSM and other ults that are going to be working for specific CMs, she is a ticking time bomb for just taking the lead, basically, and winning. So, my opinion, I think we'll all agree here, waifu pick, it's always high. We all love Nice Nature here.
Yes.
But for ace, my vote would be on the high priority, only because I'm one of those people that likes to combo abilities with the ult to just make the Uma stronger. Like I don't try to judge the ult too harshly, especially when it's like not that bad. But if you guys have anything else to say, you guys can go against me. Put her on medium. I don't think it's low, but I think medium.
No way it's not low. I wouldn't say high. I'd say medium though.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say medium.
Just because she's usable, but I wouldn't say she's like super strong. But she's like she's still like to the point where like you can where you could like win with her a lot more than others.
Got it. And then in terms of skills though, I can't really say, besides the new one, Take the Chance, you'll get Nimble Nav and Fearless, Hopes or Chase. As a parent, I think it's probably better to put her in the grandparent role rather than a parent role, only because could you use this all on other Umas? I should have started by saying that. Could you use this all for other Umas? Would you use this all for other Umas?
No.
Okay, so she's definitely, just by that, would probably put her in the grandparent role, so it's going to be low as a parent. Okay, because she does offer some good skills if you do get them, but in terms of ult, okay, all right. Oh, she's kind of in the middle. she hit high, and then middle, and then low. Okay, typical.
I guess the other thing is that you can also just run her as another speed debuffer, but like, do you really want to do that?
Yeah, she has so much potential compared to her base. I keep losing words here. She has more potential compared to her other variety. So I don't know why you would just put her.
Our other counterpart.
There you go. Yeah, it's a better word. Dominator would be very important, but it's like, why would you waste that on her when she has built-in NSM, which again, for right now in MANT, it's like one of those skills that you're gonna need for the majority of the next couple CMs coming up. So I think her stock just goes up by that. But yeah, I think just putting her in medium is probably fair enough, because you would have to build her in such a way to make her like super duper competitive, especially when there's gonna be other crazier Umas that we're gonna be going through and whatnot. All right, I agree. Let's keep it as that. Let's see here. Ines Fujin, another one of those frontrunners that a lot of people talk about. So, Ines Fujin, base stats right here. Get her up to 5-star. There you go. Her stat bonuses. So we get 15% on speed, 15% on guts. She is a turf runner. She runs mile, medium, and with a couple sparks, you could definitely get her to A. She's a front runner, although for whatever reason, you need to put her in pace for whatever interesting strategies you got. She needs only a couple sparks as well. Her alt is all charged, it's go time. Moderately increased velocity when positioned towards the front with about 300 meters remaining. If coming out of an uphill, greatly increased velocity instead. Interesting. That's sounds like it's gonna be really good on certain CMs where the finish line is right there on an uphill rather than a decline or straight. So I can downhill. So I can see that being very strong. The base duration is 5 seconds and increases target speed for 0.25. Okay. So the skills that she comes with: split stream, moxie, with all my soul. So these are one of those other unique skills that you're not going to see for a very, very long time, just based off of the cards we see right here and also just the Umas. So she's going to be one of those with that. So is this wait, what is this? Like, it says when positioned towards it in the front of the race, slightly increase velocity and minimum decrease the velocity of runners behind the user. Interesting. This is the first time I'm me looking at this, so this is my raw reaction. Base duration 1.8 seconds. Effect 1, increase target speed of 0.15. Effect 2, decrease current speed of 0.035. Target the 5 closest girls behind it. So if there's a front heavy lobby, you're gonna want this. Okay. And then awakening skills, you have Tokyo Racecourse, Restless, good. Speed Eater for mile, Wild Win. So this is the gold of the one we just talked about, so it's even stronger. And it looks like she's the only one that has this. There's no card or other Uma. Interesting. Or maybe they're... we'll look at that later. When positioned towards the front of the race, so we already talked about this. So it's 0.35 compared to that. And then decrease by negative 0.15. Okay. And then the Vol skills, again, we can't really talk about that. So she comes with PTO, dodging danger, early lead, front runner, straightaways. All right. So sorry, I got a little excited because I'm always interested in skills that will help you, but also like debuff others. Ines Fujin, guys, what are your thoughts?
Pretty cool. You know, I definitely would want. Me personally, I'd like Ines Fujin. I've always liked her, and I've always kind of been waiting for her since the beginning, since the game came out. Her unique is pretty cool. I like the fact that it like decreases current speed of people behind her, which can be used to stop some Umas that are very strong. Very strong Umas that we all know. Chris Ogiri, Seiun Sky, gals. But overall, like, I think she's very ace worthy, and or ace slash like Oshi pick type of thing. But yeah,
Okay.
my thoughts.
What about you, Sage?
Oh, regarding this unique, right? This unique is most effective in the derby.
Hmm.
It's specifically, almost entirely, just straight up a derby skill for her 0.45,
Mm-hmm.
because that was like an important race for Ines Fujin. So there's going to be like a lot more characters eventually happen to have these types of skills where they're more effective on specific tracks, and Ines Fujin specifically is for the derby, where she happens to get her 0.45 unique speed skill.
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, she happens to have quite strong skills also for both mile and medium. She happens to have Speed Eater for mile, and then she happens to have Wild Wind, which is basically a medium version of Speed Eater, but possibly even stronger because it's 0.35, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's 0.35 and decrease. Yeah, then current speed for 0.15, which is basically a white hesitant. Yeah, that is a strong skill. So she's going to be like, it's going to be quite a good Uma for like generally mile and medium. If you happen to like it, front runner Umas.
Yeah. As a quick side note here, I don't think any of these cards gives that. Well, especially the SR as a gold skill. Let me just check real quick. Because I know we're kind of going a little off track, but if that is the only Uma that has that skill, nope. Further than everyone. And then it just seems to put other Umas on the back foot. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No,
It's looking like that it's the only she's the only one that has gold. And you mentioned the derby, and I would have to agree what you said. Most of the Umas in the future are gonna have specific skills that are going to be used for specific CM, specific racetracks, because in real life they had either a win on those tracks or something of significant value occurred. So, going to be very strong for the upcoming Derby CM, and I believe that's when she comes out around that time. So, yes. In terms of Ines Fujin, I don't think I would make her a... Let's see. I don't think you're going to want to skip out on her. And would you guys put her ult as an inherit, though? Like, would you put... Not just to Derby, but for other CMs? Like, you think that will be important as well? Or it's kind of weak?
Sana CMs, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think she's a cutie, so I definitely would do the waifu Oshi pick as an ace for those specific tracks. You said Tokyo, right? Because that's where the Derby's at. Specifically,
yeah,
2,400.
On the Derby, it is a 0.25 for a 0.25 speed skill for 3 seconds. So it is like, I guess for the Derby, you can see it as an inherit there. But outside of that, it's like not really. No, it's very niche.
So probably would be like low then, because it's only good for that specific one in terms of parents. You like that. It's kind of like Super Creek's ult, right? Like Mummy Creek, you're only gonna want to use it on sprints. You don't really.
Right? Yeah, like
you don't
like
really.
Mummy Creek be on sprint and some miles.
Yeah. So I would say it's also kind of there. And for an ace, it's kind of hard. I know you want her in the Derby for sure, but just her gold skill, the fact that like it's able to basically debuff all the other front runners around you, or even just like pace chasers that are getting close into better position, that alone has a lot of value. So I'm not really sure whether to put her high or medium for that. And she also is a front runner that has a recovery. So very few of them right now that have a recovery built in to their kit. So that also does put some value on her as well. But I don't know. I'm kind of not really sure. Where would you guys put her? High or medium for an ace? You guys?
Sorry, you cut out. I don't know what.
Oh, my bad. I cut out. I was saying that I'm conflicted to put her as an ace for high priority or medium priority, just because of, one, she has a gold recovery. Not many front runners right now have a gold recovery in their kit. And then the second one was her debuff skill. That's like unheard of. You know, you're not gonna get a gold one for any one of the feature as for what we saw. So that's like a strong case on like a high for an ace. But I mean, I'm willing to hear you guys out if you guys want to put her on medium, or I don't think you put her as a low.
Medium to high ace. Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
I would say so. Yeah.
Okay. So I wish we had something in between, but leaning towards, I'll put her right there. Yeah, I'll start putting like the there you go. The order. Okay. Any okay.
Pretty good.
Any last final closing thoughts on Ines Fujin? Okay. Geez, sound a little more excited. Oh god.
Huh?
I was like, sound more excited.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my bad.
We can keep going.
I like her design.
Again, you guys continue talking.
Oh boy. Alright, we're doing this again. Mejiro Palmer. I'm excited for this one. Only because, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here. There you go. It's a runaway. So if you just have no luck in pulling Silent Suzuka, because I know there's some people there that still don't have her, this is going to be one of the first front runners that has runaway that you could pull for. So if you really want that, there she is. So here we go. Base stats, as soon as you pull her, 5-star, there you go, get her upgraded. Her stat bonuses right here. So 10% speed, 10% stamina, 10% guts. Turf runner, of course. She's a medium and long horse and is going to be a front runner. Okay. So she comes with a recovery as her unique. Keep pushing ahead. If positioned towards the front from the start of the race until the second half of the race, good vibes, recover endurance, and moderately increase velocity steadily. Interesting. Reminds me kind of Tachyon in a way. So it is a stamina recovery of a 0.055. It's for a whole 6 seconds, and it increases target speed for 0.25. All right, not bad, especially for a runaway. You don't want that. She comes with PTO, front runner straightaways, keeping the lead. Then we get early lead, see ya later. So that is a unique skill for her, and you're not gonna see it for a very, very long time. You know, we don't get this card until I think like 2 or 3 scenarios later, and yeah, so it looks like she's gonna be the only one that's gonna have it. So increased velocity when followed by another runner directly behind for a long time. So that's golden PTO, right? Yeah.
Yes, it's gold PTO.
Yeah. It says a different name when I'm playing JP because of Hachimi, so if I stop for whatever reason, it's because it takes me a second or two to process that, so my bad. She has a long shot, so moderately increased performance when 4th or below. That's a lore reason. Even though if you build her correctly, I don't think she'll ever be the 4th favorite below. Vanguard Spirit. Really good skill. So dope stuff, Golly Wiz. Okay, so again, we're not going to see any of these for a while. She has Front Runner Savvy, Sympathy, and I think they do buff Sympathy a little bit later on, but still, it's not something I would take So just kind of ignore that. She has Runaway, as mentioned before. So it's going to be a 2-man show for now. So Sage, looking at her ults, looking at the fact that she's a Runaway, what are your thoughts on Mejiro Palmer?
Palmer is honestly like pretty usable. She's going to mainly be used like as another long frontrunner choice, specifically. But gold PTO is very, very strong.
Yep.
The gold PTO is very, very strong. So like as a regular front ace, she's honestly like quite a usable choice if you don't happen to have anything else. And also as a runaway, you could also just use her for runaway strategies if you don't happen to have anyone else either. I'd say generally she happens to have like either good utility and also like decent use as an ace.
Oh, 100%.
She's not like, yeah. Her other skills aren't really like that crazy. They can be circumvented.
I'd have to agree. I would say she's gonna be a lot easier to build compared to, let's say, Silent Suzuka. For Suzuka, yeah, her long aptitude, you gotta like throw in a lot of long sparks, you know, so other things that are just as important you're gonna have to put to the side in order just to get that long to an A at the very least. Or I mean, if it's just a rabbit, then B. But if you're gonna want to do a runaway ace, I think there's a stronger case to use Palmer because her ult already is a recovery. Throw on
is a skill recovery.
Yep. Throw on Swinging Maestro or even Restless. Then there you go. You have a runaway ace. So it's very usable for the long CM. I'm gonna have to agree on that. And in terms of parent value, I don't think it's that high, only because her ult, if there's other Palmers or you're running your own Palmer, it just kind of decreases the chance of you using it because it looks like you have to be top 2, right? Yeah. So yes, if there's another Palmer or there's a Suzuka, let's just say there's 4 runaways, then the value of this skill just goes like a lot lower and lower. But maybe there's a case to be put for if there's not really that many other front runners, you want to put her ult on the Umas. But just based off of that, I think her parent value is pretty like low, right? I would say.
I would agree, yeah. I think it's low.
Yeah, it's pretty low. But as an ace, especially for the long CMs and maybe even a case for the medium CMs, I would say it's pretty high for the long ones. Why is it not going up there? Oh my gosh. Anyways, there you see. Okay, there you go. For the long CMs, it's high. But yeah, if it's for mediums, then I think it goes a little bit lower. So I think I'll just put her right in the middle right here. Of course, waifu pick. There you go. Man, Mutaki's very lonely over here for a skip. I feel bad.
Yeah, she is basically a runaway that could have more of a chance to win. Instead of competing from spot struggle and potentially like stamping out a lot of the time. Oh
yeah, and I'm sure if you pair it up with Valentine Bourbon ult, it just gives her more stamina, more things to push up for. And there's probably other ults combinations as well that we can get into, but that's a story for another time. It's more about building parents. But yeah, I can see a case. But I think the most value is because those that don't have a Suzuka, because they just unfortunately can't pull her, here's your first chance to pull for a runaway. So Mejiro Palmer, everybody. On to the next couple ones. Looks like we only have a handful left, but it's probably gonna. It is what it is. Okay. On to the next. So, Malshiri of the New Moon. Curren Sean, Wedding. Base stats, get up to 5 stars. Her stat bonuses, really good for a sprint. 10 for speed, 10 for power, 10 for wit. Turf runner, mainly used for sprint. If you really want to put her on the mile, you could, but probably not. And you'll see why later on. Front B, so if you want to put her in the front, just need 1 spark. Pace chaser mainly. So, her ult, 1 true color. If positioned towards the front with 350 meters or less remaining, and there is another Uma Musume close behind, the determination to stay ahead makes it easier to break out of the pack. So, it's an acceleration for 0.3, as well as an increased target speed for 0.25. It is 5 seconds. It's pretty long. So, there's a lot going on in terms of activation, but we will get on that after. So we have hesitant frontrunners, pace chaser corners, intimidate, right, which is basically white but ignored by all, sprint gear, pace chaser savvy, turbo sprint. So you don't have to run, what is it? I don't want to be wrong. Bocce speed if you don't want to. You could probably run a different card. So turbo sprints there. And then we have frenzied late surgers, sprint corners, another useless view skill, and then sprinting gear. So there's a lot of talk about this Uma, and you had a lot of things to say about her. So going back to the ult, what was it that you want to mention, Sage?
So the ult happens specifically at 350 meters remaining. You have to be 2nd or 4th. And you have to have an Uma at least one leaf behind you for it to actually activate. And generally, in terms of Wedding Curren happens to have Turbo Sprint compared to OG Curren. And it might possibly be a little easier to also go and activate compared to OG Curren, because original Curren happens to have like a pretty weird activation condition a lot of the time. So I think maybe in sprint, and also like maybe a few miles if you also feel like running her there too, she is going to be like generally a strong Uma, but especially in sprint, she is going to be one of the best Umas in sprint, for sure.
Okay. And I should have probably hit this while we were at it, like inheritance. Probably would make the discussion a bit easier. But in terms of inheritance, is this really what you want for another Uma, or is this going to be mainly for your ace? Probably not, huh? It seems like it's a lot. The value just kind of tanks. You have better options.
150 meters. Honestly?
A 0.1 acceleration is good.
I think it's like Plancha and Mummy, isn't it?
Alright.
Let me check. Let me check real quick if it is like Plancha and Mummy.
Oh, go ahead. I should have had that on the side too, but this is just quick. Should have been asked.
Yeah, it's kind of it's another like Plancha Mummy type
Got
of so you could use it.
And since it's built specifically for sprints, it'll probably have a more consistent proc, right, compared to Plancha and Mummy, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's at 350. Yeah, 350 meters remaining. Yeah, I would say so.
Got it. So, in terms of the skills and in terms of just the overall parent, even though we just discussed it, right? Would you put her as a high or a medium priority?
Probably medium for parent.
Got it. Because you probably still have like other options if you happen to skip on this banner.
Yeah, like generally though, Plancha and Mummy will be a little more consistent.
Got it. And I would say that she's a very strong contender for an ace, especially for sprints.
Yes, strong ace. Very strong ace. Intimidate. She also happens to still have Intimidate, which is one of the best skills in the game for sprint.
Got it. So you would say it's a high priority.
Yeah, but only for sprint.
Only for sprint. So just by that, it kind of... I would say it's just like a high, but like if you need a save, you could skip. So I would say you still have some other sprints. You know, let's say you did pull for King Halo, or even you have another Fuji Kiseki. You could probably use them. So this is probably going to be one of those ones where if you want to skip, you can, but no one's going to hold you back on it, right? No one's going to say, oh my god, you skipped. So I would say you could skip it if you don't have the resources, because there's not just the Umas coming out, but also cards that are coming out. The only
smarter speed eventually.
Exactly. Well, not just that, but there's just plenty of other strong things coming out even later on this list. The only case why I would say you don't need to also get her, because I know we're going to talk about it later. There's Gold Ship, Summer Gold Ship. Her ult is very interesting. We'll talk about it later, but it does really pair well with Adored by All. But if you have base Curren, you don't have to pull for the new Curren. So if your people are telling you that you need to pull her just because of her Adored by All, if you have regular Curren, you don't have to worry about it. So again, it's your choice. I would say it's probably going to be one of those first ones where you could skip her if you want to. It's just not like super necessary. Of course, always going to be high priority for waifu.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine motion. Wedding. So, like I said before, I know it's not a broken record, a lot of people still use fine motion wedding in current year in JP. Base stats are right there, 5-star. She has growth in guts of 10% and 20% wit. So, one wit card. You don't need to bring a lot more than that. She's mainly going to be used for miles and mediums. However, even in current year and global, I've seen her be placed onto long. And then she has a C and end. So you can kind of see where this is going. She has an A in pace. Now, best day ever is the alts. If well-positioned late race on the final quarter or later, increase velocity. If there's a large distance left to the finish, also increase acceleration very slightly with perfect form. So what does it actually mean? Well, here we go. It's going to be a 5-second duration, increases target speed for 3.5, and then as mentioned before, if there's a larger distance, then it increases the acceleration by 0.1. It's still 5 seconds. So we'll get back to that later. Firm conditions, head-on, shifting gears, mile corners, changing gears, which we already have that on other Umas, and cards won't going to be for a while. So good mile skill. Seems like this is going to be more for the mile rather than regular fine motion. I think it's built more for mediums. You have fall runner, you have neck and neck. So this is going to be the first time that we are going to see golden head on an Uma. So she has it, and we're not going to really see it until way later for Taiki. Sorry. Summer Taiki, Camp Taiki, whatever you want to call it. And then later on, we already went through it on the card video, Daiwa Power. So if you guys want to have a sneak peek on that, well, maybe you can pull on this Uma and actually have a crazy golden acceleration for a Pace Chaser. Gonna skip out to the Evolve skills. On the other skills we get Pace Chaser Corners, All I Got, Mile Straightaways, Prepared to Pass, Standing By. So like I said, there's some foreshadowing here if you want to make her as an end closer. Up tempo, straight descent, updrafters, preferred position, and then again, head on. So knowing that, and like I said before, fine motion wedding is, I would say, a very important pickup because they use her to this day in JP. So, Sage, would you like to add anything about wedding fine mo?
I think fine mo is stronger in mile compared to original fine motion, generally.
Got it. I think I said it the wrong way earlier, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah, she is much more mile oriented compared to original, which is what you also happen to go and say. But also the fact that she happens to have skills like neck and neck, which will eventually get buffed, will become very, very good.
Mhm.
So I think generally like Wedding Fine Motion, similar to OG Fine Motion, happens to have like a lot of different uses
Yes.
they can do with her. But she will be pretty strong in
The
miles,
miles.
specifically in miles, yeah.
Okay. And what about her alts? Do you think it's worth it to just make her also as a parent? Because I think she's really important. But based off of some of the stuff we've read through, do you also agree on that, or do you disagree?
I'd say not really as a parent.
Mm.
Not really as a parent, but as an ace though, she is like going to be strong.
Okay. Okay. Why do you disagree? I'm curious.
The effect it gives is not really that strong enough as
Mm.
on inherit.
Okay. I just see her a lot as a parent on, well, Miles, and I do see her as a inheritant, as a grandparent when it comes to like mediums. But
Yeah, maybe a grandparent, but not as a general parent.
okay, maybe there's hidden tech that JP has, but I just, anytime I open up an Uma's inheritance, whether in those rooms or even in the last CM, I always see her, whether as like the main parent or as a grandparent. So
It's probably because you have a lot more SP to work with, at least compared to now.
that is also a thing. Yes,
So it's more like a win shot, you know.
medium, higher. Yeah, I would say, just based off of what I've seen, it would be high. And it's not like I disagree with you completely. It's just if Drippin was here, he probably would say the same thing, because he's also one of those people that has mentioned that before. But
I see.
just for the sake of like what I've seen, I'm just gonna put her as high as a parent priority in JP. I really wish I had more knowledge like based off of that. I just see her everywhere. So again, it's probably some hidden tech in JP servers, whether it's because of more skill points or because of a certain patch note, that she's just there a lot. In terms of an ace, I would have to agree. For Miles, you're probably gonna want her. So there you go. And then, I mean, of course, the waifu pick. So, man, we're we're going broke on this one. And I would even probably go for the next one over here for Inari One. Inari One, just based off of Cinderella Grey and what I know also just about the horse, is gonna be just crazy. You know, her base stats are right here. Get her up to 5 stars right there. She has a 10% stamina and a 20% power growth rate. Now, this is why I say she's crazy. Her aptitudes are both A in turf and A in dirt. Her distance is B in mile, A in medium, A in long.
My goat.
Yes, she's A as an end closer, but for whatever hidden tech and tricks you got, B in pace, B in late. So just based off of that, this is an Uma that you can pretty much run on any track, anything, just based off of the aptitudes. Now, I'm not saying it for the skills and whatnot, but if you need to just put a body out there, similar to a Guri Cap, well, I mean, let me pause there, because that might upset some people, because her skills are, whether it's regular Oguri or Crystal Oguri, I mean, of course they have their pros and cons, but you could run her on any track as well. So this is just, it's crazy to me that she has this. You know, the closest we got so far was like Agnes Digital, you know, having A in turf and having A in dirt, but the fact that she has like a G in long, I think it was, that kind of like puts her value kind of a bit lower. But let's go on to her alt. Now we're crushing. So when competing for the
Cruising.
lead, oh sorry, I can't even read. Holy crap! Now we're cruising. Holy crap! It's late. When competing for the lead, if position in the mid pack or further for the first half.
Furthermore.
Okay, hold on.
first half
Okay,
of the race.
let's have a pause real quick. Okay, so for her unique, now we're cruising. When competing for the lead, if position in the mid pack or further for the first half of the race, show off some endo spirit and greatly increase velocity. Edo, isn't it Edo?
Edo spirit.
Okay, Sage, you're a resident Japanese study. Is it Edo or Edo?
It's Edo.
So wait, I was wrong.
I stand correct.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, I took Japanese art history, and I took 2 classes.
Literally, this unique is super good for late in it. Super good. Especially if like you're pushing up, for I'm pretty sure it's like 4th and 5th order rate.
Yeah, it's looking like it. It's yep.
It's like and it's like literally ogre cast, bro. Target speed for 5 seconds.
It's for
For
point.
5.
Yeah.
Good in
Strong mid game, 4th or below.
Fourth and below, yeah, strong mid game for 4th and below. So it's like this is a pair that's still used today in JP.
Oh yeah.
I see it. Yeah, definitely still used in JP. I'm picking a back end player. I love her.
Well, hold on. Let's go on to the skills real quick. Even though I agree with you, tailed held high, and closes straightaways, familiar ground, which I mean for most dirts, unless it's the medium, you're probably not gonna use it. We have winter runner, tail 9. So besides Tamino, right, and we're not gonna get this skill for a really long time. You have another Uma that has tail 9. Very strong broken skill, especially for long races when there's like no man's land where you're trying to catch up. Super strong, and I'm sure plenty of you guys that are listening have seen that Automino Cross just go from 8th or 9th or whatever, swing all the way to catching up to the pace chasers on a long. She has built-in straightaway spurt, so one of those skills that just most, if not every single end closer needs, right? She's built in with it. Master of the Sand, so again, gold recovery on dirt, which I wouldn't use it unless it's a longer dirt, but even then, I think the long
Medium dirt you'll typically use it for. But
yeah, but that's like 1 cm, that's 2,200 meters, and we won't get that for a bit. Again, we're gonna skip on that. You get built-in ramp up, you get built-in forward march, so we don't have to no longer, try and farm it from Agnes Digital, her cards, or even her, and then her own SR card as well. So you can
Eager is really good.
Oh yeah, it's a new skill. That's
and
a new
fighting spirit, she's
yes. So she's
stacked.
She's stacked. It's like every Uma from the Cinderella Grey. They're just stacked with really good skills, really good ults. And just the fact that her versatility is just so high that as an ace, I would definitely pick her up. Just as an ace. And it's just another end closer that has tail 9. One of the 3 that we're gonna get for a long time. So as a parent, I would put her high just based off of all the skills that she comes with. So straightaway spurt, we have ramp up, we have forward march, again tail high, like all these skills you're gonna want on your Umas. So the parent value is high. Do you guys agree or disagree?
Yes, I agree.
I agree.
Okay. Ace potential, I also say very high. I think it's like higher than anyone that we've already talked about. Waifu, also there. This is not an Uma that you want to skip. I know the list is pretty short, and there's gonna be people out there saying, "Oh my God, it's so short," but you're gonna want her. you're gonna want her. She, as
Yeah.
dripping,
Another one is just another example of an Uma that is strong and flexible on many tracks,
Mm-hmm.
similar to Agnes Digital, except she can actually run long compared to Digital.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the big difference.
Okay. So excitement aside, I'm really excited for her, but gotta wait another like month and a half or so. We have our little witch, Sweep Tosho. There's some chatter about her, so we'll go on to it. Her base stats, get her up to 5-star. There you go. She has speed growth of 10, power growth of 20, turf. She is a mild medium, potentially long Uma, just a little bit of sparks, late and end. Now, her ult, victory belongs to me. I am not even gonna attempt to pronounce that. What is that?
Strelitzia.
Strelitzia? I don't even know what that means. If positioned towards the back and racing calmly until the start of the final corner, when there are 300 meters remaining, cast a magic spell to increase velocity continuously. Sounds pretty strong. So it's a 6-second duration. It's 0.35 target speed. So you have to be, it looks like right here, like 5th or below. Am I reading that right?
Yes.
Okay.
You also have to not be rushed.
So another like King Halo type. Okay. When inherited. Also not that bad as an inheritance either. Okay. So you have skills, you have trick, after school strolls for an end closer, taking the chance. So again, that newer skill that we were talking about in the card video, you're gonna get that one. For her skills, we have Intense Gaze, Go Home Specialist, Straightaway Spurt, and then Gold Intense Gaze. She's the only Uma that has it. So that already, if you want your end closer to have Gold Intense Gaze, she's the only one that has it. Can't really talk about evolve skills just yet, but just know that it gets really damn strong. So, split stream, and closer corners, and then we have a debuff, because in real life, Sweep Tosho wasn't that sweet to her staff and her jockey. And ironically enough, we do get a skill from her, and this is the first one that we're gonna have for a really long time, and this is Restraint. So increase wit and moderately decrease the chance of being rushed. So for all those Umas out there that when you constantly rush and you lose your stamina or you lose an ability, well guess what? There is a skill that will help negate that. And she's the only one that's gonna have it for a while. So Sweep Tosho. Let's talk about her. Drippin, you were gone for a while. What are your thoughts on Sweep?
I think she's, pretty cool. Uma. I don't know much about Sleep, except like when I was using her card. But Uma wise, I think she is really good, especially with the restraint, because now she has better chances of not getting rushed. With that, and can proc more ults like Dober ult better. Able to proc, other ults that are super strong that have that dumb rushed feature. So I think that's really cool. And you can kind of use her to farm that and put it on other Umas.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. That's a very interesting part about Sweep, is that you can use that skill, put it as, and farm sparks on it, so that you could go and use it for other Umas, especially something like frontrunners, for example.
So you definitely would have her as like a grandparent for fronts, right? Because obviously you're gonna have stronger parent skills, but she's gonna be for a grandparent for sure. She's a triple tiara runner, so this is looking past MANT. So you're gonna probably want to run her in MANT to get her base affinity up with those other runners who are, you know, stallions in real life. Sweep is the mare in real life. So this is the interesting one, right?
She is quite interesting. Also for the fact that she's the only one to have Gold Intense Gaze and Petrifying Gaze, which is a strong skill.
And you could.
Outside that, she is pretty usable. She's like
she's
mainly mild medium. She can run long. She can also run sprint if you really put 10 sparks in it, but it's high investment.
Yes. So that just
Yeah,
makes
she's
her...
going to be mainly ran as an closer.
Yes.
10 speed, 20 power is nice, bro.
Oh yeah. And it's just more within her nature to be versatile. Like you can definitely use her on the longs just for her golden intense gaze. You know, that'll really hit hard, and she comes with a really good gold recovery as it is. So just, you know, stick on Swinging Maestro or Superior Heal, whatever gold recovery that we eventually get a little bit more fast forward. So she's gonna be a strong Uma. And I know this list is getting even longer and longer, and this list hasn't even really moved that much, but just for some of those skills as a parent, see, for a front runner, grandparent for sure, right? That's why she'd probably be like, you know, medium, because it is sacrificing another slot that you would probably use for somebody else, and then as a grandparent, you know, the chances of getting those skills is even more decreased. So you probably want her on both sides of the lineage. So it's gonna be rare to get those skills, but if you hit, you know. And I know those people out there like, oh, what did do? Like, you know, there's people out there that are farming Ignited Spirit wit, Ignited Spirit power, and so many other skills that, trust me, as the game goes longer, as it get more competitive, people are willing to put that time in to farm those skills. So where would you guys put her? Would you guys put her on the more like higher end just because it's more of a grandparent for fronts? Well, basically could be anybody, a grandparent for anyone really, or even a parent for some Umas. So, but it's kind of hard.
Medium.
It's medium, like high tier medium.
Yeah.
Okay, and I mean she does have a lot of end closer, you know, skills that you probably put on other end closers. So I would have to agree there. As an ace, very versatile, very good. I think her abilities are very, you know, useful for any track, any CM. So I would probably also put her as an ace for like low, high to medium, only because you have Inari One, who I would say is a lot stronger compared to Sweet Tosho. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I would say that Sweet Tosho is medium. Like, she happens to have, like, a niche, but she's not, like, super strong.
Okay.
But she's, like, good.
And
It's good and great.
And similar to Nishino Flower, Sweet Tosho is your waifu. You gotta get your hard drive checked. And probably for the first time in a while, we have another Uma that if you want to skip, you can. You know, very niche, but also in a way kind of powerful for that. So definitely a borrow. I was gonna say that it's gonna be a borrow slot, and probably be the same. Like, maybe I should fix that right now. Yeah, never mind. I'll do that later. So yeah, you could skip for her, but still a strong Uma. You're gonna definitely see her being farmed for that restraint until we get it on other Umas, and then later on the cards. But you don't see Neo Universe for a while, and then Bourbon Power even longer than that. So, yep, Sweet Tosho.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not for her. It's not for her actual unique. It's for her restraint sparks.
Yep. All right. List is getting shorter. Let's keep going. We're almost there. All right. Mejiro Dober. So summer camping. So base stats, get her to 5-star. There you go. Her stat bonuses, pretty damn good. So 20% speed, 10% wit. She's pretty much the same as her normal variant. She has A in mile, A in medium, still an F in the long. She's mainly going to be used as a late surger, and she has a B in pace. So her ult, wherever this wonder leads, if positioned mid-pack on a downhill just before the late race, and there's a large distance left to the finish, enjoy the race to the fullest, increasing velocity. So once again, one of those skills that has a keyword. So keep that in mind. So here we go. Here's more details about that. It's a 5-second duration, target speed 0.35. She has some skills here. So Kyoto Racecourse. She has Fearless. Again, one of those unique skills that we don't really see on a lot of Umas and a lot of cards until the future. Take the Chance, medium straightaways. She has Dauntless. So this is going to be Golden Fearless, which again, we don't see on many Umas until the very far future, especially when it comes to cards. Okay, so like the white version, just better. Target speed's 0.35, an acceleration of 0.1. She has Full Throttle, which again, another new skill that you don't get for a while. From the Brink, I think that was already talked about. It's golden skill you get on Siri Symboli. Talked about that in the card video. And then other skills you get: Fall Runner, Updrafters, Downhill Speedstar. Downhill Speedster. Slightly increased velocity on downhills. So unlike the Pace Chaser specific one, this looks like it's for any position, it looks like. It doesn't say like late, end, or whatever. So there you go. Universal skill that you might want to farm. And then Unyielding Spirits. All I got. So going back to camping Dober, what are you guys' opinions on her?
She's all right. You know, not as strong as her her other variant, because her other variant has a really good Excel. But
Sage.
I think Dober is weird to me. The main thing is that she happens to be specifically for Kyoto mediums. Because it says on a downhill just before late race. That's specifically for Kyoto 2200 and Kyoto 2000, which is like the Queen Elizabeth II and Shuga show. Because both those races, late race will start like before late race actually starts. There's a downhill that starts right before there. That's how this happens to go and work. So that's what her niche is. Like she has use in the Kyoto medium specifically. That's where her niche is at.
So similar to Ines Fujin.
Yeah, similar to like Ines Fujin for like the Derby. Yeah.
Got it. So similar to Ines.
Even then, I consider this to be like generally worse than OG Dober, because OG Dober's already, as Drippin said, very strong with her Axel. You're going to see that in the next CM a lot, especially.
Got it.
But she does still have like a bit of use even outside the Kyoto medias, because she does have From the Brink.
Yeah.
So it's sounding like she's a
When it gets buffed.
So it sounds like this might be one of the very first Umas that we're gonna have on our list that we've been doing, that as a parent it's kind of low. She only has white From the Brink right? Because you can't pass the other one down, the golden one. And her other skills, although useful, you can get them on other cards. So I would say her parent is going to be at a low value. Would you guys say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As an ace, similar to Ines Fujin, she's very niche.
I'd say like either low, possibly even low priority.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, it's Ines Fujin could definitely be used in a lot more other races. Her abilities can be used as well, and her ult has 2 different conditions. But it sounds like Dober is more locked, as you said, to those specific race courses due to the wording of it, you know, on a downhill. You know, if that wasn't there, you think if this wasn't there, it probably would be a lot more useful, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Got it. And again,
Yeah, but specifically because it's on a downhill, being the Kyoto race courses in medium.
mhm.
Yeah, I feel bad.
I do too. And I mean, again, it's just those in universe reasons. Like, she did very well.
Oh yeah, another additional one is also Hanshin 1600 as well, the Okasha.
Okay, so she has a little
That's
bit
also
more.
good.
Okay, but still low. We'll still agree with that.
Yeah.
It's very niche.
That's still low.
Okay.
Like Fuji Dober is generally much stronger as an ace and also very important as a parent.
Mm-hmm. Waifu pick though, very high. Everyone loves Dober. There's so much art of her now, and being one of the last of the Mejiro clan as of this recording, knocking on wood, still around, very pretty, very sweet. We all love our Dober. But sadly, because of the other reasons, this is probably going to be one of those Umas that you could definitely skip on, correct? And I would even argue that it's pretty low, but the fact that she's with Taiki Shuttle, it makes it hard to skip her. But if she was on her own banner,
Better.
yeah, if she was on her own banner, you would skip her though entirely, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Dover. I mean, we still, like I said, we love you, but your camping is so niche that, you know, you can only really use her in specific CMs. On to Taiki Shuttle. This is an interesting one. I see Taiki Shuttle being used even in CMs as an ace to this day in GP. Her camping. So, just based off of that, already going into this, her stock value is pretty high. Her base stats are right here. Get her to 5-star. They're right there. She's going to be one of those other Umas that has a specific... yeah, I know. 30% power growth. So, similar to, I think, Manhattan Cafe at 30% stamina growth, she just focuses on power. So, this is going to be one of those Umas that you might not even need to really bring a power card, or if anything, just one. No power sparks, though, because you have that 30% power growth, but you're definitely going to have to sacrifice a lot for, you know, speed and for wit. So, just take that into consideration. It's going to be similar as her variant. A on turf, you can put her on dirt. She's really good for sprints, really good for mile. Could possibly get her on medium, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. And then pace is A, if you really want to. Front, again, judging by her ult and her other skills, we'll see. So, her ult, Joyful Voyage. It positioned towards the front with 200 meters remaining, right? So, hold on, let me double take that. So her ult is Joyful Voyage. If positioned towards the front with 200 meters remaining, increase velocity. Then, if also positioned near the leading Uma, gather strength to move slightly forward. So here we go. It seems like there's 2 conditions here, right? As mentioned before. So the first one, 5 seconds, increase target speed, 0.35. Second effect, current speed, going to be increased to 0.15. The second trigger, as mentioned right there, is going to be for a whole 5 seconds, and then the target speed is going to be for 0.35. So pretty strong. Her skills that she comes with: wet conditions, productive plan, head on. So already her stock is going up because head on, you no longer need to bring Yaeno Top Gun, and you don't need to do her secret event in order to get head on. So just by having that, again, stock keeps going up. Mile corners, Mile Maven, Pace Chaser corners, and then again, she's gonna be one of those few Umas for a while that has a neck and neck. We're not gonna see that until Halloween. Oh my gosh, sorry. We're not gonna see that until Halloween Dodo. Then we have
My goat.
Oh yeah, well that's plenty to say, but that's later on. And then Power Daiwa. Again, she has some additional value towards JP for her ball skills. We have Prepared to Pass, Light as a Feather for Sprint, Shifting Gears for Mile, All I Got for Medium. Again, you don't have to do the secret event, you just get the other skill. And then Rushing in Blind, this is for Mile. This is gonna be a skill that... Is this the Taiki Shuttle already has that? Or is this for like later on in the update? Because I don't think she has that right now. I could be wrong. But
Later on.
We'll keep going. Yeah, I think it's a later on skill. And then head on. So just based off of that, what are your thoughts? We'll go with you, Sage. What are your thoughts on this Taiki Shuttle?
So, this form of Taiki Shuttle is one of the first examples of an Uma that has a current speed skill. Current speed skills are broken. And they will become very common later on, especially when you see like modern JP now. You see that current speed is everywhere. So you know how Dominator and other Hesitants, they're so strong, they are super strong as debuffs because of the fact that those are current speed debuffs. And they are very effective. This one is just like the positive version, where you're able to just instantly have like a big speed increase compared to target speed, where you're reaching that. So, Camping Taiki, the only literal one downside about Camping Taiki is the fact that she loses her very good growth on 20 speed, 10 wit for 30 power, which is like interesting, but outside of that, like everything else about her is super strong. She is going to be, just like the original Taiki, one of the strongest milers in the entire game.
I would have to agree with that.
So like she's going to be very meta. It's like original Taiki on my...
Probably replaces original Taiki unless you are broke from the amount of Umas that you're pulling based of our own tier list, which again, you mentioned earlier as a disclaimer, it's just our point of view, and it's also coming from a dolphin to a whale perspective. So her inherent though, if you inherit this unique, it's also pretty strong because like you said, it's one of the first skills that you get with current speed. So, Drippin', anything you want to add as well?
Super strong Uma.
There you go. So, you mentioned as a Mile, and you probably have more knowledge about this. You think she's going to be useful in mediums as well, Sage, or no?
She could be. I mean, similar to how original Taiki was. Original Taiki also had like a few things in medium as well. Like before her change to shooting for victory, she was going to be like, she was strong in medium as well. But also she was very strong in Tennocho Autumn, as we saw in Scorpio Cup. So you could see use for other ones too, like sprint and medium, because of course you have neck and neck as well.
Yes.
When that eventually gets buffed, Camping Taiki will just generally be very strong. He is top tier.
And unlike regular Taiki, she doesn't need to be doing all those secret events for it. So I think it's higher value. You can just focus on, training and even just well, yeah, training, because you have 30% power growth and you don't have any other growth in the other stats, so you don't want to waste too much time on doing all those extra races. So there's that. As a waifu, of course, Taiki Shuttle is just high up there because of her very large personality, I would say. Probably not going to want to skip out on her. As an ace, especially for the mile, and you said also for niche medium, so already, and also just for sprints, so that kind of puts her high up there because she's going to be used for 3, or rather 4. No, my math is not mathing. Sorry, it's really late. Don't worry, I'll let this out. She's basically going to be used for most of the scenarios, so she's just good. As a parent, though, would you guys put her as high or as medium? Only because she does have a lot of skills for pace chasers that you're gonna want, and if you're able to farm them, you can get them from her.
I wouldn't really say so. Her inherit is not as effective compared to OG Taikis. Even though there is like current speed in it, like 0.035 is super negligible. So, I mean, not really sure. Just maybe
like
possibly.
I put her on low medium.
Yeah, maybe like lowest of medium.
Yeah, it's the only reason why is because of mostly of head on. You don't really get that in the cards. I think like right now the reason why a lot of people are bringing the Mayano SSR speed, and even I guess even you have a KC's special week SR, is because of head on. You know, that's like one of the few cards that offers it as of right now. So that's probably why I'm putting a lot of value to it. Especially, like I said, it has a lot of other pace chaser like things, and I know a lot of pace chaser skills are really important, especially for the next couple CMs. A lot of pace chasers are going to be really important. You know, it's going to be pretty much a front pace, and I guess you could make the case for late's world, but that's the only reason why low medium priority. I would have to just because the alt does put her stock down. But as an ace Uma, she's like I said before, used to stay in JP. So there you go. All right, let's put her to the side. As you can see, we only have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 left. So let's try and go these a bit quicker. We have Air Shakur. Base stats, right there. Get her up to 5 stars, that's what you get. So back-to-back Umas that have a 30% growth. So she has wit growth. Turf runner, medium and long, strategy, late, and pace is C. Alright, so her alt, trigger beat. When you're the inner rail mid-pack on the final or later, calculate the path to victory, increasing velocity and ability to navigate smoothly on the final straight. So let me reread that real quick because I missed a very important word there. So her ult is called Trigger Beat. When near the inner rail mid-pack on the final corner or later, calculate the path to victory, increasing velocity and the ability to navigate smoothly on the final straight. You can see the details here. It's going to be very interesting because we have a couple things going on here. So it's below 4th and above 5th, right? On the final corner. Order rates is this
It's 4 to 7.
So 4 to 7. Okay, so these are the 2 numbers you gotta focus on right here. And the base duration is 5 seconds. Increase target speed 0.35, and then we have an increased lane movement speed 0.035. So it's one of those skills that all these frontrunners are always talking about. So it might be important, right? Or am I putting a little bit too much on that?
It's a little bit too much. I mean, think of it like digitals. You know how Agnes digitals is, but you just put it like 2, and it's just like that. That's what it's more so like.
Okay.
That's what the effect of it would be more like.
Got it. Okay.
Instead, for her, it's you have to be 4 to 7, and you have to be inner row.
So it's a lot of conditions already. Okay. And
Yeah,
then,
on the final floor.
And then we get skills. Ramp up, eager, enclosed straightaways, double-headed. And then isn't this golden eager, right?
That's gold eager.
Yes. So she's the first to get that in the line right now. So for 2.4 seconds, increase target speed for 3.5. Pretty good, right? Especially if you're a backliner trying to catch up to the paces and the fronts. Strategist, useless skill. And then we have a straight for the end closers. So finally, you get your golden straights. So once again, trying to catch up to the front runners and pace chasers, you have more options to do so. Besides Gimlet, and then later on some of the cards, she's going to be the only Uma to have that for a bit. And ignore that, comes with Intense Gaze, Ear, Fall Runner, Fighting Spirit, and then 99 Problems. So this is a reference to Tupac. I'm going to say that right now. If you didn't catch that, it's a reference to Tupac. Similar to her own name. Get overwhelmed by the powerful opponents, moderately decreasing guts and wits. So you're losing 40 and 40. That's not good. You don't want to
I
probably.
think that's only during career mode she gets that.
That's during clear, yes.
So
That's a clear thing.
any type of debuff I always try to get rid of, even though it's there. So, Shakur, what are your thoughts on her? Anyone we're here?
Who'd she pick?
Oh, she pick. Did you have to agree with that, Sage?
Yeah, Koshi pick.
Oh, she pick. Okay.
What I will say though is, good luck.
Why do you say that?
It's gonna take a lot for you to truly win with her, but you can do it.
Is it just
Oh yeah.
the growth? Is it the growths that are?
Yeah, like 30% wit is like just there's another 30% wit Uma that comes much later on. That's Neo.
I don't know Gimlet. Wait, no, is it not?
No,
No.
it's near universe.
No, it's Neo Universe, but Neo
Universe.
like compared to how Shakur is, right? Shakur, you need a lot to get her to win. Neo Universe, she is just the one winning. Just a difference in terms of like getting stuff, for example. But she is like, you could still make her work.
It's like any end
It's
closer.
a lot of effort. Generally, it's just an Oshi pick.
It's like any end closer. Just slap on straightaway spurt.
Yeah.
NSM, you win. Like that's
Yeah.
most end closers. I mean, she does come with ramp up. That's good. Like she's gonna be able to.
Yeah, she does happen to have like highly usable mid game skills, like
Very.
gold end straight, gold eager. You know?
Well,
So there
hopefully
is-
it goes on a good point, not at the final straight when you're in third place or something. You're already losing. But yeah, I would have to agree.
Look at how fair.
Oh well, not third, but like further than that. Yeah, you're like already all the way.
Yeah, if you want to just like run it down or something.
Yeah. I would have to agree. I don't really see that much value in as a parent because it's super specific for like end closers, even though there are a few end closers that talking about Inari One, but like she just has more even general skills that you could slap onto other Umas. Air Shakur, on the other hand, is mainly gonna just be for end closers. In terms of Ace, I would have to agree too. I'd probably put her higher than the other two that we've talked about, but
Yeah.
you know, it's just an end closer. You know, you have more. You could put pretty much any Uma as an end closer, slap on certain skills, and they do relatively well.
Yeah, they'll still do fine.
Yeah, pretty much.
And of course, if it's your waifu, it's your waifu. But I think we could all agree here that she's just gonna be a skip.
Yep.
So the list is getting a bit bigger. I think I misclicked. I don't think Special Week Commander comes out. Let's see real quick. No.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh wait, she does. I thought it was
No.
I thought she came out later. Okay, I
No,
stand
later, yeah.
corrected.
Finale part 2.
So
Your story.
Oh, okay, that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
So
You don't have it.
Ruler of Japan. Special week. Base stats. Get her to 5-star. Growth. 10% speed, 10% stamina, 10% wit. So very good, very usable. I think this is like the golden, one of the golden ratios, huh? 10 speed, 10 stamina, 10 wit.
Pretty solid, honestly.
Mhm.
Very solid.
She can.
I think the best one is 10 speed, 10 power, 10 weight.
Mm,
In my opinion.
got it.
Yeah.
Distance. She needs a little bit of help, but she can run miles. Medium, long. Strategy. Once again, could be made as an end closer, but mainly going to be used as a pace in the late. Now, her ult. Dreams dawn with pride. If the user activates another skill on the final corner late race, take the crowd's cheers to heart and moderately increase velocity. If racing at the Nakayama race course, so once again, one of those secondary triggers, greatly increase velocity instead. Interesting. So we have to be careful here because for most of the CMs, if you plan to use this one, you have to discount this part, Nakayama race course. So here we go. First one right here is, yes, right here. Okay, good. So I think it was, so base duration 5 seconds, increased target speed for 0.45. So that's the Nakayama race course one. And if you just regular other CM that isn't on Nakayama, that's 5 seconds with only a 0.25 target speed. So it's once again one of those Umas that does relatively well on specific courses, but probably could still do good on other ones based off of her other skills that we can look into. She comes with corner adept, pressure, outer swell, long straightaways, overwhelming pressure. So after Matsukane Fukutaru, she's another Uma that has that. And you have
Ass. Skills dog ass.
you have 10 Hauser as well, and then the free SSR. But I mean, it's good if it freaking hits, right? Isn't that what everyone was like swearing by?
Sure.
So
I think it gets buffed later on.
Yeah. But this is the exciting part. So besides late corners, and sorry, long corners, I stand corrected. She comes in with best in Japan. So yes, it is a late oh my god, I need to correct myself here. She comes with best in Japan, right? It is a long skill, but it is a very important skill because only the team series card can use it. And if for those that were rudely awakened, only certain Umas can use this card. If you are winning ticket, Rice Shower, Mejiro McQueen, Narita Taishin, Special Week.
Brian.
Oh, Narita Brian. I stand corrected. And I think there's one more. Oh, Suzuka.
No, that's it.
Suzuka. No,
Oh,
she's
Suzuka, yeah.
she's also there. You can't use it. So she's one of those Umas, even though she's on the card, that she can use it because her own kit has it. Again, it's for the long races, but it's gonna be a useful skill. Evolve skills, and it's gonna get really good. Can't talk about it yet. She comes with pace. These are from events, pace strategy, homestretch haste, corner adept, Tokyo racecourse, Nakayama racecourse, winter runner, stamina to spare, and slick surge. So, very versatile Uma, has skills that she can use as a pace and as a late surger. What are your thoughts on special week?
Just long oriented too much.
Mm.
But it's she's alright, I guess. No way.
Yeah, she's generally more long oriented, but especially on Arima.
Mm.
She's mainly an Arima Uma.
Yeah.
She also can get the bonus speed on Sasuke Show, and funnily enough, Sprinter Stakes. But you're not really. That's just.
Oh boy,
if you,
yeah.
if you were forced an offer, but yeah, like she's mainly like Arima Uma
So
a lot of the time.
it was a trailer to what Oguri Cap was later on, when you have like more and more buffs for specific race courses, which makes sense. I would have thought that they would have put her on, because isn't Nakayama where the Skasi show is as well?
Yes.
She didn't win that race. Well, he didn't win that race in real life. He did win the Derby in real life, and lost Yuri McKinnon twice to Grass Wonders. So that's just interesting. How, but again, this is a game of what ifs. So if you want to give her a chance and win that race, well, here you go. In terms of Ace, well, let's get on to Parent. I think it's pretty low. I don't think you're gonna really use her as Parent all that much compared to her normal and then her summer outfit. I think those two are vastly more usable compared to her own skill, unless you somehow want to use her for very niche race courses, of course. But I would put her as like low medium, or even probably lower, huh? Because low medium or like high low.
Low.
Okay.
I'd say low medium.
Okay.
Just because, you know, there's still like the niche at Arima, like, or like any Nakayama race course, right? You could go and inherit it, and it is a 0.2. It would be a 0.25 for 3 seconds, so it's usable. You know, it's a thing. Baller for Nakayama.
If only Best in Japan could be like inherited, but
Yeah,
that's another story for another time. But definitely some of these skills you could use for other Umas. But yeah, I probably would keep her like low, medium, high, low. As an ace, again, similar to Ines Fujin, similar and Sweet Tosho, I probably would put her even like low, medium. Really strong though for longs, just because of Best in Japan. Like that's a rare skill.
Yeah, good and long as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Since there's like so many like Umas that can't use it, you know, and also the card, it's pretty good, but in the context of MANT, you need as much race bonus as possible, and there's already too many stat sticks in your deck that already has like 5 race bonus, so it's kind of hard. But I think that's what like increases her stock a bit, so I would put her like kind of right behind Tosho. Waifu
I guess.
pick. Yeah, go ahead.
I guess also at the same time, this comes out at the much later part of the scenario, where eventually the throne banner is going to be out.
Oh,
So-
we already had to talk about that.
So most people are very likely going to be using the throne card at that point.
So I think this is probably going to be another Uma that, if you really want to, you could probably skip. Yes or no?
Very skippable.
Right.
Pretty what?
Only pull if you like
Free.
Special Week and you're an Oshi fan.
She's free. She's part of the main story. It's a main story reward.
All right, fine. I'll put her up. Oh, can she go up here? There she is. There. Skip, but I mean, it is Special Week. It is John Umusume. If you want to just get it for the meme, you can. Very important. All right.
Doesn't hurt to have.
Doesn't hurt to have.
She's free.
No, I think you have to pull for her.
No, you don't pull her.
Oh my god. Well, I stand corrected. So just because she's free, as always, Yeah, value always goes up for free stuff. Okay, my bad. It's like so late right now. Like I should have been in bed like an hour and a half ago, but I'm trying to finish this. All right, the show must go on. We literally have four left, so we're almost there. So we have Mejiro McQueen Summer. Base stats, 5-star stats. Her bonuses come in 8% speed, 8% stamina, 14% wit. Pretty decent, pretty good. Again, for a medium and long, she's mainly a pace. Put her to front. Her alt, the sea glitters, but you're dazzling. If you're in the front, in the second half of the race, your speed will increase. Bonus duration depending on your remaining stamina. So it kind of sounds like similar to Anime McQueen, huh? So,
A little bit.
okay, so increased target speed for 0.15. This is special scaling, so I'm assuming it's because based off of whatever stamina you have left. Okay, she comes with focus. All right, Pacer to savvy, feature act. So one of those skills that Team Opera has. Okay, sense on diamond. And then faultless. Isn't this just oh, it's a new one. Okay, leader long. If you don't have a okay, hold on. Faultless, leader, long. If you don't have a late start to the race, your stamina will cover a little in the first half of the middle leg. She has Headliner, which is that skill that Team Opera has. Not going to see it for a really long time until Cheval Grand card comes out either. Stamina to spare, single-minded, so gold. Interesting. So she and Narita Top Road seems to only be the only two that has this skill. Stamina recovery of 0.075. That's pretty decent. It's just the issue here is that you can't have a late start, which for whatever reason, a lot of Umas tend to have a late start. However, if you have focus, does that negate the late start? Or no? I know this sounds like a stupid question.
Concentration like helps a lot.
Okay.
Late start.
I know I sound stupid for asking that, but like I always thought like concentration / focus like negates that, so this shouldn't be affected, right? Or am I like completely wrong? Okay, so evolve skills. Okay, early lead, so that's her normal. I know this is like her normal thing that she has, even in her two other forms. PTO. Okay. So you can farm PTO on this one because she doesn't have PTO on her base, and then Summer Runner. So Summer McQueen, based off of what I'm seeing here, this is going to be for the long CMs. Has a gold recovery in the kit similar to her other alternative outfits, so it's always valuable to have. However, just based off of the alt, it sounds too much similar to Anime McQueen. I know they did kind of fix it, but regular McQueen DC is just supreme. Rapid fire mode here, guys. It's sounding like a skip in a way, but you know, just because she's with Summer Gold Ship, you can't really skip her. But if she was on her own, would you guys skip or try to pull for her?
Definitely skip if she was on her own.
If she was on her own, I would skip.
Okay. Any thoughts on the alt, or nothing really?
Is this basically just a pace version? It's basically like a more frontline version of Mejiro Bright's ult.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Yeah, and I know we didn't really say much about those other Umas that we skipped, but I can see why you mentioned that. Okay. So, probably... Excuse me. So, the only one I can see her being a high choice is if she is your waifu and you want another McQueen, then go for it. But based off of the kit, based off of her alt, she is pretty low in terms of trying to make her as an ace, as well as even as a parent. she does have some useful skills, especially for front runners as well as for the long. However, you could probably get those on cards. So I would have to agree with you guys and put her on the skip. So there you go. However, the other Uma that she's connected with in the banner is Summer Goldship. There's a lot to be said here for Summer Goldship, and we'll get to it right now after we go through the stats. So if you get her 3-star, there you go. Up to 5-star, there you go again. Stat bonuses: you get 20% power, 10% width growth. She's going to be a Turf Uma. Distance, mile C, medium A, long A. Strategy, B. Pace, speed, late, A, and closer. Now her ult is probably one of the best in the game in terms for using debuffs and whatnot, but we'll get into it when that comes after we do a quick review on the other skills. So, Adventure of 564. At a random point in the second half of the race, your speed will increase and you will activate 2 of your gold skills at random, ignoring their conditions. Keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Keep that in mind. Her skills are going to be Lucky 7, Inside Scoop, After School Stroll. She comes with medium skills as well, with Eager. She has Innate Experience, Risky Business, Golden Eager, and then we're going to ignore the Evolve skills. We're going to go down to skills from events. We get Haunch and Race Course, Non-Standard Distance, Summer Runner, and then finally Gatekept. So, the kit itself, not so spectacular compared to base Goldship. However, this is probably going to be one of the more dangerous parents that you are going to be seeing onward until the end of Uemusume, whenever that happens, just because of the ults. So, Drippin, if you're there, I know you have a lot to say about this.
If you're huge on making debuffers, and you know, a person who's like solo face, this Uma is good as a great parent for making your debuffers, because not only is she like, her unique force procs a gold, ignoring the conditions, like you can literally like bring any debuffer Uma. You could bring like Dominator on long. Just insane.
Mystifying
It's like
Armor, adored by all.
Mystifying Armor, yeah. All the debuffs are crazy. You just bring them onto any course, which eventually like they realize like, oh, this is fucking dangerous, and eventually we'll get like CMs that ban debuffs, but still like this is a really good unique for debuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
To give you another idea, let's say you also happen to have existing dominators on medium, right? Now, how about add 564 with that and have Kenai with that?
Oh yeah. I saw a lot of Kenais on the most recent JP medium.
Mhm.
It was crazy.
Yep.
And it's just very scary to think about because they don't outright ban her until way later on in the timeline. So as a global player, you're unfortunately going to have to deal with this for a lot of time going forward. And does it also mean that you can use other ults ignoring their conditions? So let's say like if you rush but you have Dober ult, you can still use it? Or
No, it's just the gold.
No,
just
it's
gold
gold
skill.
skills.
gold skills, my bad. Okay, so I'm already thinking about it wrong. So okay. So even it could even like hypothetically be used for like a weird like ace, right? Like let's say there's better skills that are on a sprint or on a medium that aren't debuffs. You could put them as well for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
but I know it's mainly
Well, it
used
is
for
at a random point in the second half of the race, so it is ultimately extremely gambly in terms of when it actually hits.
Okay.
But it is funny. Also, I guess another thing to mention is that she's basically the best Uma for team trials.
Yes. Yes, I do
She's
see
best
her a
team trials.
lot. I do see her a lot on team trials as well as just the inherent.
Yeah, just because, you know, she can proc 2 extra golds, it's more points.
Got it. So, as an ace, I think her, for right now, base gold chip is still high, so you probably won't use her as an ace necessarily.
No, not really.
I mean, if you want to be a little weirdo and have her as a debuffer, you could on a long.
Funny.
Yeah, so I would put her on like low. You make her as a debuffer, that's it. But as a parent though, it's high, right? For the debuffers.
Yes, definitely as a parent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you put it in the A section though. The other one in the
Wait,
red
where?
section.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be confusing, this little list we're going here. For a parent, oh my bad, you're right. So high is a parent, ace pretty low. There you go. Thank you for catching that. And of course, it's gold ship. I know you people, you guys are freaks and are very brave if that's your Oshi/waifu. So you're gonna realize really quick why she was banned, but unfortunately we're gonna have to deal with her for a really long time until they get banned off of the CMs. So enjoy that later on, especially for, because we don't have to for the words. So the good part is we don't have any longs coming up anytime soon, but for Grand Live there will be the one, and you're gonna feel the full wrath of Summer Gold Ship. So
Hey, it helps solo ace Oshi players.
I have words for that, but we won't go. So we have another Cinderella Gray Uma, and I believe she's on her own, so she's not fighting for positions in terms of pulls. So second to last Uma, we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. We have Bamboo Memory. So her base stats, as you can see right here, as well as the 5-star. Her stat bonus is 10 speed, 10 power, 10 guts. She is a very utility. Oh my god. She's a very utilitarian Uma. She can be used on sprints, miles, and with some sparks. She can also be used on mediums. Her strategy mainly is a late surger, but again, if you want, add some sparks, the end closer, she can become an end closer. Her ult, hot-blooded disciplinary attack. During or after the final corner, if you're in the second half of the pack, your acceleration will increase, bonus duration and effect strength for overtaking up to 3 times. Interesting. It's like similar to Rudolph ult, right? She has to overtake for her ult to go off. Right? Correct? Nope, maybe?
It's
actually a little more different than that.
I thought it's a pass like 2 other runners or something. And yeah, it's the bonuses right there. So it gives you 0.1, 0.1, 0.1 for overtaking.
basically, yeah, you can proc this ult 3 times.
So, okay, that's why I was misconstruing it. Okay, so each time you overtake, you get 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, so the base duration is 0.1 on the XL, but if you overtake, so I'm trying to think of it here. If you're 4th place, you overtake 3rd, you get a bonus 1. Overtake 2nd, you get another bonus. Overtake the first Uma, you get the last one. Okay, there you go. Her skills: ramp up, outer swell, pumped. That is a skill that King Halo has, but it looks like it might be for newer because I didn't see it, as well as her card. Okay, Bamboo Memory card, and then King Halo, but that must be an update because I don't think I remember saw Pump. So when positioned towards the back of the final corner, slightly increased velocity. Wait, that's just Rising Dragon. Ah! Name is different. My bad. Sprint corners, fearless, full of vigor.
Whoa, you can't say that.
Okay.
Full of what?
It says full of vigor.
Alright.
When positioned towards the back, when positioned towards the back on the final corner, increase velocity. Alright, that's what that skill is. Can't even look at
Say
those.
it one more time for me.
No.
Full of what?
No. Target, insight, sprint straightaways, and then home stretch haste. So bamboo memory. What are your thoughts on her? Sounds very interesting for the ult. This is probably one of the first ults, right? That just continuously goes off so long as you meet the conditions.
Something like that.
Thinks. Come on, need more energy. I know we're almost there. Come on.
It is 12 a.m. at night.
And you're still playing Uma. I can hear it in the background.
You can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Nope.
But anyways, what are your thoughts on that?
She's honestly, she's an Oshi pick. I know me and Bamboo Memory have go a long way, especially since I pulled on her dog shit card.
Oh wow. Wow.
So I do have some memories with the old girl.
Yeah, Bamboo Memory. She's interesting. She's mainly going to be a sprint mile Uma, but you can also run her medium. And I think she's usable. She's an Oshi pick. Generally.
Definitely Oshi pick.
I think I'm putting too much stock on that, like, because the max acceleration is like 0.4, which isn't too bad, and especially if you like combined it with NSM and other skills to try and have a pulse, and then Emperor's Divine Might, and I mean I'm pretty sure there's gonna be other skills. Yeah, that one. Probably just gives her more and more value. But just based off of her kit, though, Rising Dragon, I know there's an individual that we all know that swears by it. It's pretty good. And just for Drippin', I'm not gonna say that other one because he's hearing other things. So it's
Full of what?
She's definitely a solid choice, I'd say, for an ace, like in the medium pack. But I don't think I would like make her as like a top choice. But I think there's potential to her, so long as of course you give her like certain skills. As a parent, again, in theory, it sounds like this ult. Let me see here. When inherited. Oh, so it's even less of a value. It's like little, So
insufficient.
Yeah, like on paper, in theory, sounds amazing, but in practice, not so much. If she's your waifu, or like, again, because of the popularity of Cinderella Grey, then by all means, like, pull for her. You could definitely run, you can roleplay certain races between her and Oguri, so that's always exciting. Also with Muteki, same thing with that. Like, you can always do that. But yeah, I would have to agree. Probably gonna be another Uma that you could skip on. Pretty niche, interesting, works only on paper. On practice, a little bit more difficult. Finally, we're almost done here. Stay with me. We have Copano Rickey. And I learned the other day that Copano Rickey is the most... Sorry. So I learned the other day that Copano Rickey actually has like the most G1 wins in the JRA. So if you want a champion, you have Copano Rickey. You can look it up.
Well,
that most
local G1s. There's local G1s. That's the thing. There's like basically like JQN ones, what they're called, right? From the NAR. So
Ah,
in terms of the actual most G1s, like at least international wise, it's still Almond Eye at 9, but Copano Rickey has the highest combination of both JRA plus NAR, like grade 1 level races.
sadly, it's because dirt still in Japan is just kind of like niche. It's kind of like meh. The turf is like still important. I know here in like North America, like most tracks are dirt still. So I looked it up and it didn't mention that. It just said like G1s in general. It didn't like specify. But I mean, if you want to go with that, then I believe you. I believe you. So base stats, 3-star, pull her immediately, and then finally 5-star. Her stat bonuses are pretty interesting. So you have 10 on power and 20 on wit. Not too bad. Could be better. She's A in dirt, so she's mainly going to be used for the mile and medium. She could be used for the sprints. She just needs a little bit of help to get that C up. And then she's mainly going to be a front runner, but she's also A in pace and C in lates. It's kind of weird because I see her mostly as a front runner, and I believe even in real life he was a front runner as well. So it's kind of interesting how they put C in late. I can understand the pace, but not the C in late. But I digress. So luck comes to the prepared. In the second half of the middle race, your speed and acceleration will increase depending on the amount of green skills you've activated. Okay. So it seems like it's a special condition, but the initial target speed is going to be 2.5. Interesting. Her innate skills, Pastures to Savvy. All right. Promising Omen. This is a unique one. Yeah, she's the first one to have it. IAE do not see Smart Falcon. So these have to be like updated ones later on. It's just showing it because this is the JP side of Game Tora. So Promising Omen. So dirt. If you're in the first half of the pack during the second half of the middle leg, your speed will slightly increase. Okay. So it looks like for 2.4 seconds, your speed will increase by 0.15. Medium corners, skillful step. So this is our first dirt green, huh? Yeah, it's gonna be your first dirt green. So if your power stat is 1,000 or higher, gain 20 speed stat. If it's 1,200 or higher, gain 40 instead. Okay, and this is gold. Promising Omen. It's victory opportunity. So it increases at 2.4 and then it goes to 0.35 for target speed. Exchange races. Your speed stat is increased by 40 in exchange races. So these are those. Okay, so these are probably those racetracks you were talking about, like the regionals versus the nationals. Okay, that's where I see it. And then this is gold skillful step. So okay, it increases. So if your power stat is 1,000 or higher, gain 60 speed stat. If it's 1,200 or higher, gain 80 instead. That's really good for dirt, especially. You get again top pick, forward march, and then skillful step. So it seems like you're gonna want to put as much greens on Copano Rickey as possible.
Absolutely.
And
the green man,
the green,
also known as Green Giant.
She's kind of short though, but she's cute. So just off of her kit though, she already comes with 2 greens. Of course, you're gonna want to add more to that. And I've seen her as a front runner. I could be wrong. I know this is a pace chaser skill, but I think Promising Omen could be used for any position, right? It looks like it. Yeah, if you're the first half of the pack. So if you're above, okay. So
any position in the dirt.
Yeah. So looking at Copano Rickey, this looks like finally we get a dirt Uma that can go against Smart Falcon. I would say. You know, there's other dirt Umas that we get, but this is when we start moving towards getting more options in the dirt, because we don't really have a lot, especially after the last CM. You saw plenty of Umas that were turf racers being forced on dirt because what base Umas that we have on dirt is going to be Haru, Hakonder Pasa, Oguri, Smart Falcon, Taiki Shuttle. Am I missing anyone else? That's pretty much it.
Ines Digital.
Agnes Digital, sorry. So we're gonna start getting more dirt Umas.
Not one.
Well, no. I'm speaking about like the last dirt CM.
The last CM. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we don't really have like crazy option. That's why people were like forcing turf Umas onto dirt. So
Right.
I
she's
mean,
pretty
we'll
strong.
have, we'll have like Inari One, also Dirt A and Turf A.
So pretty strong Uma. The only issue with her is she is so close to release to the. Sorry, let me rewind. The only problem that I see with Copano Rickey isn't even like within herself. It's the fact that she's so close to the release of Agnes Digital Speed and Light Hello Pal card for the next scenario.
Wait,
That's
you talk about but it's Tachyon speed.
what did I say?
Taiki on speed.
See, it's that late. It's that late. We'll leave that as the meme. But, anyways, like I was saying, so that's the only problem that I see with Copano Rickey, is that she releases so close to the next scenario. She's so close to Agnes Tachyon Speed, and so close to like Hello Pal. So that's the only drawback that I see from not pulling for Copano Rickey. Like, a lot of people are gonna want to save their resources for those cards, as well as some other cards that were previously discussed in the other video. So
I was going to say,
Mhm.
regarding Copano Rickey, right?
Yes.
She is the strongest Dirt Uma in the entire game.
Yes.
The strongest.
No, yes. She's still using
Like
JP.
straight up. She is the most meta Dirt Uma ever.
Mm-hmm. The only argument, like I said, is because she's so close to the next scenario and so close to those two cards that I could see a lot of people skipping her. Especially since we only get like one dirt CM per scenario, pretty much.
Yeah, like Dirt CMs don't happen that often.
Yeah, but because she's really strong and like you said, like the most, usable Uma in dirt, and if you skipped any of the other Umas, because again, our opinions, you could have a totally different pull plan, then maybe she's going to be the only Uma that you're going to be pulling for. I know a few people are actually going to be doing that. Like, they're skipping basically all these Umas, with the exception of like one or two of them, and they're going to pick up Copano Rickey because they don't have any other dirt Umas besides the ones that you start off with. So
Yep.
That's the only thing that I can say. Like, as a parent, let's do this. As a parent, where do you rank her at? Is her ult really that useful as an inherited?
No.
Okay,
No.
so pretty low. However, you're not really doing that for a parent. You're building her for like the strongest dirt ace that can compete with other stronger, dirt aces. As a waifu, trust me, when you see her story and you see what she's all about, you're gonna fall in love with her. Now,
I'm pretty sure,
Mhm.
because of Copano Rickey, they do start implementing more dirt races.
yes, I think that's
Mhm.
when they finally have the update where you have like 3 to 4 additional dirt G1s, so you don't have
Yeah.
to be scrounging for dirts, especially for, I know those that are Smart Falcon enthusiasts. They are always trying to get their turf up because they need those dirt races. So it's gonna be a 50-50 on your own prerogative, your own decision to pull for her. only because on one side, as mentioned before, very strong, very usable, is used till this day in JPCMs. However, because she's so close to the release date of Light Hello and Agnes Tachyon cards, as well as just even the new scenario that's going to have other Umas and other cards coming up, you could have a debate on whether to pull her or not. So I'm just going to put her in the middle, and like physically in the middle. Like, I know there's other Umas here, but like this is going to be like the 50-50 of like of whether to skip her or not. It's going to be your choice. So I know we ended in I don't even know what the word is. Low energy. Anticlimactic. There you go. But that's just the nature of the beast. Now this is the list here. So you could go ahead and take your screenshots and post it on Reddit and all your Discord servers and say how dumb we are and how, you know, pea-brain we are, and you make your own list, you know? But I'm hoping that what we said will add to the additional perspective when it comes to pulling for Umas and even cards. And it gives just a slightly different angle. Might be similar to other content creators out there or your friends and other circles that you talk about Uma Musume with, but I can say that I'm pretty satisfied with this list. So that's
I'm okay with this list.
it's pretty much it. I wish I could move this, but we can't. It's just kind of there. It gets bigger too every time. Whatever. Just trying to see as much as possible here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Closing thoughts, Drippin'. What do you like to say? Closing thoughts.
Perfect tier list. Perfect. I think the opinions that we all have are pretty good. For the most part, yeah. I actually think this is really good. Please pull with your own discretion. You know, like if you don't agree with us and you just want to pull the Uma, just pull if you want to. But you know, just know that this is what we think the priority of these Umas are. You know, so take it with like either a grain of salt or full-heartedly, however you choose.
Sage, any closing thoughts?
I'd say this is a pretty acceptable tier list. And also, rule number 1 from me, always pull for your Oshis.
Absolutely.
Always. Oshis over anything else.
Don't let your Oshi be a dream. Cool.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining me. I know it's a long one. It's looks like we have 2+ hours here, but don't worry. With editing, it's gonna shape it down. So
Much shorter than the last one, but
hopefully. But other than that, yes. Just to echo, pull at your own discretion. Do your own research. You can always go onto some of the resources that are provided in the description below to check on the race courses. You probably notice something that we didn't even take notice of. And as always, save your resources. I never really agree with giving streamers just more money to pool. You know, I'd rather you use those resources for your own pools. You know, maybe not even just for Uma, but for other games or other things that you might need in real life. You know, times are getting a little difficult, so I always want to put a lot of importance in that. Other than that, though, thank you for joining us in this relatively long Uma pool list, and we'll see you all in the next one. Thank you for making it to the very end, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
later.
See you.